Hello trippers, welcome to another solo Lesta adventure. And once again, this time I'm not solo, I am in a big group. This year I'm with the level 1 scout group because my daughter is joining for the first time, and so I decided to stay with her. So this is a very different kind of trip for me. We have 5 nights on Stratton Lake and then 1 night here on Grand. So it's a very different type of trip. We have a total of 18 people. There's a lot of group gear. I did bring my telescope once again. However, it's going to be a full moon, so we'll see how that goes. Here we are at our first portage. This is a 60 meter or 40, depends on who's counting, into Stratton. So we got some very, very green, I'll say, canoeists. And some tempers are flaring, and there's some confusion about what to do and who's in charge. Some people think the person in the front is in charge, and those people in the front don't want to sit in the back. And now we're learning how to do our first portage. Alright, portage 1 almost finished. Now I did a big no-no in front of everybody, and that was I just carried over the dam because I have a lot of stuff in here. I'm at the train bridge. Actually, there's a big rock up there which featured in my second video series, and so we're just kind of parked under here in the shade waiting for some of the other scouters. Hey! We're being kidnapped! And there's some boys doing boy stuff. Stratton Lake is beautiful today, just a sea of glass. Couldn't ask for a better day to paddle, especially with a bunch of inexperienced kids. So right now we're looking for 2 campsites that are fairly close together, because really we need to just pick the first 2. Okay, trippers, well, that marks the end of the first day. We got to site in a reasonable 3 hours, and got everything set up and ready to go. Division of labor, that kind of thing. So far so good. We had some burgers for supper. They were all right. And I'm just kind of laying in my hammock here now. I've got all kinds of stuff set up. See if I can show it to you. Alright, so yeah, I've got my solar charger here. It is charging my watch. I've got a Bob Ross video here. Now remember, the canvas is already covered with the alizarin crimson and the brown and a little touch of blue. And then there's me. Good night. Good morning, trippers. It's the morning of day 2. Sitting here, have a nice toasty bagel, and the other scouters have all the kids out on the lake practicing canoeing. So I've caught a moment's peace. Woke up this morning to the sound of kids pretending to play D&D, and so now I'm just kind of enjoying the site here by myself. We have 2 girls, one of which is my daughter, and a bunch of the boys. And I just heard one of the other scouters yell, "Girls win by a mile." So my daughter's doing quite well, and that makes me happy. Here they come now. Gabby, what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I'm organizing my snap.
They're trying to taunt the one guy who's running solo on a canoe. There he goes. It's actually doing quite well.
Who's going?
All right, we are off for an adventure for the day. So we're gonna head to the High Falls area. We've got our 2 patrols there and there, and our plan earlier was to sort of wait later in the week. We would move campsite closer to that end of the lake, but it looks like the weather is going to be a little more inclement during the midweek. So we're just going to practice our paddling, get over there today, and we'll see how we do. Some people have literally doubled their canoeing experience yesterday, so we'll see how it goes. Well, here we are arriving at the High Falls area. We made it. Took a couple of hours. Now we just need to find parking for 9. That spot there is pretty much taken. And I know that we can dock here as well. Okay, so we had some fun at the High Falls water slide, and we're on our way back. Now, it took us about 2 hours to get here. It is 20 after 5 now, so I'm expecting to land on site about 7:30. It's gonna be late supper tonight, but it should be good. Well, it's the end of day 2, and I gotta admit I'm struggling a bit. It was a very long paddle. It wouldn't normally be a long paddle, but you know, so we have different capabilities, and so naturally a big group moves as slow as the slowest person. But we did our best. We were a couple hours back, and then we had a really good supper. We probably really appreciated the supper because of how tired we all were, and hot and a little grumpy. But anyway, it's a little after 9. I think a lot of us are retiring for the evening. It seems appropriate. Still daylight outside, actually. There's my telescope. That's it. I'm just going to lay here and try not to bake in the heat too much because it's been hot.
You just need a lot of momentum.
Yeah, you need to be propelled like faster than a water system.
I feel like a dog, you know where they have those little feet? Yeah, it thinks. My shoes
Yeah, so
This is level 3. Is that Astrid?
I don't recognize the name.
know how to get no charring. The char is good.
Hello, Trippers. It is the middle of day 3 here. We had a wonderful bit of rain this morning. It didn't get too windy or too frightening or anything. But as we were sitting around, we realized that somebody is in need of some medication that they thought they had, but they don't. Anyway, so what we've done is we've arranged through satellite communication to have meds delivered to the access point. And I was nominated to, well, I volunteered and was nominated to go pick them up. So I've got my double blade paddle. And one of the scouters, their ultralight canoe. And so I should make pretty good time. Now, by the book, this should be about an hour each way, unless the wind picks up and carries me off course. Because I have a fair amount of freeboard in this canoe. It's sitting pretty high in the water because I'm without gear. I have my snacks and stuff for the day. I have lots of water. I have my water filtration kit, and I should be good to go. I'll check in with you as I go. It's been about 15 minutes actually, and I'm already I've just finished the portage back into Grand Lake from our site on Stratton. So, just a quick paddle up to the lake, and I'm going to do another radio check. I've been radio checking as we go because on Friday I'm going to be scouting ahead looking for campsites on Grand. We need to make sure that we don't get caught 10 kilometers up looking for a campsite because our group just can't do that. So the plan on Friday is for me to scout ahead with the radio. I'll secure 2 campsites if I can talk to people, find out when they're leaving, and do it that way. But I have meds to get. I'll check in with you later. And that's where I'm headed. I'm making really good time. I'm down about a half an hour, and I'm in the middle of Grand Lake. Alright, I'm gonna put some sunscreen on. My daughter, I love her to death. I told her that I was going out to run this errand, and I said, don't worry about me, I'll be back in a couple of hours. And she's like, okay, do you have your water? Yes, I have my water. Do you have your med kit? Yes, I have my med kit. She goes, do you have your snacks? Yes, I have my snacks. She goes, do you have sunscreen? I'm like, no, oh, no, I don't have sunscreen. She's like, here, take mine. I'm like, so I better use it. I'll be in big trouble when I get back to the campsite. She's a wonderful kid. Well, here I am. I made it to the access point. I made really good time, actually. I made it from our campsite, which I'll put up on a map here at some point where it is, to the access point in 40 minutes. And that's including the time to shoot these little videos here and there. Haha, 4 o'clock and we are good to go. They were early. Nice. Actually, no, 4 o'clock is exactly when they said they were going to arrive. That's perfect. Okay, I'm almost back to camp, and I got to get a picture of this. That cloud is winking at me.
Not like that.
It is chilly night.
You literally said you don't want me to say. I am wet.
I'm also wet.
Hello, trippers. I am taking refuge in the hammock next to my telescope. The rain was pretty intense for a bit, and I'm told we're going to get more, and it's going to be harder. So, should be in for a bit of a storm later tonight. Kids are all pumped full of adrenaline right now, and they're being super annoying. I imagine I've got a bit of adrenaline going too, so I'm super impatient. So I think it's best if I just come hang here for a bit. hang. Get it? Hey, so here we are just hanging out in the hammock. The rain's been off and on, and we caught a bit of a lull, so we've just sort of firmed up that tarp there that the kids are all huddled under. They all seem to be in pretty good spirits. I may be the only one who's feeling a little down about the downpour. So, I'm going to stay out of it. They seem perfectly happy over there without me being grumpy about it. So far it's just a heavy downpour. No wind, no real wind. The wind is really the only part I'm concerned about. It's because when the wind comes up, it gets pretty chaotic. Things start blowing around. Things that were dry start getting wet because the rain's coming in from the side. So I've battened down my own hatch here, and the kids are all, of course, they're in top quality tents, so they're going to be fine. And they're all just hanging out. So I'm just going to hang out here and take my own space. Hello, trippers. I have, again, caught a moment of solitude. So there was some debate this morning over whether or not we would move. Ultimately, it was decided that before we make the effort, we should send a scouting party ahead to actually look for a site and radio back. And I was nominated for that. I was the one who pushed mostly for moving sites. The site we were on, I didn't really like it. And really, I don't want to spend 5 nights anywhere in one spot. However, I would spend 5 nights here. This is a beautiful campsite with open area. Really nice fire pit. There we go, really nice fire pit. The previous tenants have left us a nice cache of firewood. We got a beautiful sandy beach over there. And it's all sort of open exploratory ground in there. Thunderbox appears to be this year's, so it's a brand new Thunderbox, and lots of level ground for pitching tents, and being out on a point, there's a good breeze that tends to keep the bugs off, except we are expecting some weather tonight, so that does tend to... Oh, sounds like they're heading our way now. What was I going to say? Anyways, yeah, so we just gotta, find sheltered spots to put our tents, but there's plenty of places. So this is a great site, and it was nice to get out for a couple hours on my own. So I'm just sitting here waiting for the crew to come, the rest of the site, the rest of the patrol. I believe they've just launched about now, so they should probably be 20 minutes, a half an hour away, depending on how they paddle. There was quite a debacle this morning over whether or not we would move, and this is part of the group dynamics that I'm, still, it's still working on. So for most of the trip, I've been deferring to one of the other scouters. He seems like he was in charge, and so if I'd say we should do this. No, because of that, or the other thing. Oh, okay, sure. And then this morning, it seemed like a lot of us wanted to move, and he didn't want to move. And then he was trying to get a weather report so that, you could use that to argue that we shouldn't move. He was just trying everything. And eventually I just said, I want to put this to bed right now. Is there a scouter in charge? And is that scouter you? Because if you're in charge and it's your call to make, I'll support your decision 100%. But if you're not in charge, then I'm getting real tired of having everything I say just bulldozed over because you don't like it. So are you in charge? Well, no. I'm like, okay, then it's a group decision. We should decide. Well, then he put it to a vote, and most of us wanted to move. And he's been kind of bitter about it ever since, and he's been kind of petty, pushing the kids who voted to move. He's been pushing them extra hard to do more work to get packed up and this and that, which I kind of understand. If you wanted to move, then you should help get us ready to move. And he seems to, He gave my daughter a particularly difficult task that really he was the only one who knew how to do, just so he could give her a hard time about not doing it right. So I put a stop to that too. But anyway, it was then voted that before we go through the effort of packing up camp, we should make sure there's a site down there. So I was nominated to come first with a radio, and yeah, sure enough, I found this great site radioed ahead, and they're just leaving now. That was quite some time ago that I arrived. But anyway, I've enjoyed the time on my own, and I'm just sort of sitting here having some snacks, because when they arrive, I'm going to try to be gracious and help everybody get unloaded and help get the group gear all sorted out and things like that. Put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. But hopefully this doesn't turn into a blow up between him and I in front of the kids, because that's not good for anyone. But anyway, I'm making the best of it. Actually, since we're here all by myself and I've got my hammock set up, I should give you the tour because I've made upgrades. All right, this is a new hammock. This is a one wind, 11-foot hammock. I've really enjoyed my Hennessy, but there have been parts about it that I don't like. It's always been a real pain in the butt to get in and out. And it makes it to the point where I don't want to get up in the middle of the night to go pee, because I hate the thought of climbing back into it and getting myself all situated again. This one here, very different. So I tried to get an underquilt for winter camping for the Hennessy hammock. And because of the unique shape of the Hennessy, you can really only get an underquilt for it from Hennessy, and it's kind of a for-weather solution, and it's kind of semi-permanent. Once you put it on, you don't really take it off, and then you lose the capability of your snake skins and stuff like that. So I didn't really like it, and it was also quite expensive. There's another outfit in the United States, I forget what they're called, but they make one that's custom made for the Hennessy hammock. And by the time it was going to land here, it was going to be over $550. So I just said, no, I think I need another solution. So I managed to get that hammock with a matching underquilt and top quilt for, I believe, probably just over $300. So for a little more than half of the cost of an underquilt, I got a whole new hammock with top quilt and underquilt. Now the great thing about this here is I have the top quilt just kind of sitting inside right now, but it can snap to the underquilt. So I get a double layered underquilt, so it's good for winter. And then I just throw a sleeping bag in the top as a top quilt. So that was pretty cool. What I absolutely did not like about the one wind hammock is the way it packs up. I hate that double-ended stuff sack. It's garbage. I think I broke it on the first try. Actually, I broke one of the cord locks. Some small little thing on the bag tore as well. And it was a real, fight to get it into the double-ended stuff sack. I really miss my snake skins. So I added to this the 12-foot long, I think it's a 12-foot, 12-foot hammock skin or hammock sock. That's exactly what they call it. And then what I also missed about my Hennessy hammock was the integrated fly. So I found a 9.5 foot by 9.5 foot square tarp And if you use Pythagoras, that comes out to just over 13 feet diagonal. And so it's a foot or so beyond the 11-foot hammock on each end. Lots of coverage, and I can wrap it up and use the snake skin just like I used to on my Hennessy, and now I love it. It's just so much more, and it's more comfortable. It's more of everything I liked about the Hennessy, and now it still has all the good stuff I liked about the Hennessy, and none of the stuff I didn't like about the Hennessy. Has a great suspension system, stock. I'm going to keep it. There's no reason to change it. I should show you what I did here. So to integrate the fly, it was quite difficult because with the Hennessy hammock, what they have is on the ropes that come out here, you have a prusik loop, but you can't put a prusik loop on a webbing strap. It just doesn't work. So I figured something out. I figured out that I could take an S-beaner, see if I can get a focus on that. So I put an S-beaner here, and I wove it through, and that functions very much like a prusik loop, and it's very tight and doesn't slide. And then I put it to some shock cord and clipped it on here. Although I have the shock cord at its max, so I might as well have just gone with static cord. And then I put another ridge line through, almost like a second structural ridge line. But it does the job. That tarp covers a lot of ground. I even have enough room for my telescope, which is good because it got really heavy rain last night and my telescope was just sort of cuddled up to my hammock. Stay nice and dry. Okay, so I said I kept the stock system. I should qualify that a little bit. So what I kept is this webbing strap system and this buckle. This does a really good job. I have no reason to change that. It functions a lot like the pair of rings I had put on my Hennessy. One change I did make is I put a carabiner here so I can just go around the tree and clip it. If you don't do a carabiner, what you have to do is you have to feed this through this loop, which means every time you set up, you have to feed through here. And so it just saves a bit of time to put a carabiner here. And then I can leave it all together. I couldn't integrate the tarp if I didn't do this. All right, crew has landed and everyone is setting up their shelters as they should be. Nobody had any trouble finding a spot. Lunch today is going to be a big old pot of pasta. We went for the fancy sidekicks today because that's how we're rolling.
So here, get the bowl bag. Get the bowl bag in the center.
Woo, trippers! What a day it's been. So after we had our lunch, I noticed that our patrol B hadn't been back from their day trip. It was getting kind of late, and so we started watching the point. The wind was coming up, and it wasn't looking good. So anyway, so it turns out they were having some trouble getting around the point. We watched them for a little while, and then I decided I'm going to go out and just sort of offer some support if I can. Got there, they had pulled up to the campsite that was there, and they met a couple of a family of scouts. Go figure. So we're all just kind of sitting there visiting, and then just sort of probably moral support more than anything else, but got them back to our site at least, and then they were sort of on their way again, and so they're headed back to their site. They should be fine now. But it's been quite a day. It's been quite a trip.
You still want to jam?
Okay, fine. I'll least.
I can't tell any stories because I was a pretty bad kid at your age.
No, tell stories, tell
Oh,
stories. Tell stories.
I can't imagine that's true.
Please.
Scouter. Can't get power outages because there's no power.
What
So we're
about in
fine.
Smith Falls would it be?
Good morning, trippers. It is day 5, I believe, and we are headed off on another day trip. We're going to head down to the High Falls again. We're launching from probably half the distance as we launched the other day. This is a much more favorable position for us. It's a beautiful day. We're not expecting any bad weather, and everyone seems to be firing on all cylinders. Everyone's got their they've got their routines in order, and today I get to paddle with. Hi, honey. I've not had a paddle with Gabby the entire trip, so today is just for her and I.
Well, I mean, now if he doesn't have a water.
And we got the telescope out, and I got the solar filter. Let's see if we can't get the camera to pick up a view. No, not really. Good morning, trippers. It is day 6, and today we move. Today we have to get from Stratton Lake up to Grand Lake, and so I'm going to scout ahead and try to lay claim to a couple of sites. Not necessarily because I want to pick the best sites, but because I need to pick sites that aren't way up at the north end of the lake. So, and who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky and get both. So I'm carrying all my gear in the patrol box. This is my canoe loadout, telescope, my bag, the patrol box, my barrel, my day pack. And I'll just do a quick check-in with the Patrol B when I pass their site and see how they are. And then I'm off to find the next home. Whew. Well, trippers, it's been a glorious paddle this morning. I came up Stratton Lake and I reconnected with Patrol B. It's just been a beautiful paddle all morning. And now I'm up into the little creek between Grand and Stratton. I just finished the portage, 60-meter path around a dam that would normally just be a lift over. If it was a beaver dam, it would be a lift over. I got to fess up, so on the way in here I did carry over that little low head dam. It was only about a foot or two. Only now did I realize as I was walking by that there is a sign that clearly says no wading, no trespassing on the dam. So, oops. So this time I portaged around, and it was, for me this morning, it was a 5-carry portage. Once with my day pack and barrel, once with the patrol box in my main pack, once with my telescope, once with my telescope accessories, and then finally once with the canoe. So anyway, I'm off to try to find home for the next night. Haha, mission accomplished. We got a really nice site here that was well looked after. It's nice and clean. I don't like that the birch trees have been stripped bare, but whatever. Really nice open area, and right down here is the path to the next campsite, which I've also managed to lay claim to. So this site here, also really well kept. It's been raked a couple of feet out from all around the ring, just like the other site. So I suspect that the last people that were here was actually another big group like ours taking both sites. So in here, we have lots of open area for tents. So this will be great. And here we are. This site appears to be occupied, which it is. And this site looks occupied from a distance. The point is to make both sites look like there's people here, as seen from the lake, right? Because it's a very disheartening feeling to come up to a site that you think is empty until you're right on top of it and realize, oh, there was a canoe there. They just put it in the woods. And here we are. It is only about 10:30, and I've got gear spread around a couple of sites. And there's really nothing else for me to do except to just sit here and wait. So I figure, what better place to sit and wait than in my hammock, out of the flies. Weather is overcast today, not too hot, no direct sun. So far, no rain. And the wind isn't too bad either, so I think they should have an easy time getting up here. Otherwise, I'm just kind of in vacation mode, and I don't really know how to do that. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. Oh, I'm sure I'll manage. Well, I couldn't do that very long. I sat there for a bit, and then I decided to go just sort of see if I can meet up with them, help them move along, offer any assistance. And then I just got on the water, and I'm just starting to hear a little bit of radio squawk. Not quite a clear signal, I can't make out what they're saying, but I know they're within probably 1 kilometer to 1.5 kilometers. So I'm gonna go find them. Well, troopers, here we are in the hammock for one last time. We're bunked down for the last night. So my camera's been acting up throughout the day, so I didn't really get any video of much happening. Got some nice pictures though. The sunset was really pretty tonight. There were thunderstorms on the distant horizon, and it was kind of neat to watch. And we had a Thanksgiving dinner. We dehydrated some turkey, and we used instant mashed potatoes with some stovetop stuffing and a couple of gravy packets. There was dehydrated string beans and some cranberries even. It was a really great supper, and since we had both sites near each other, we all kind of get together for the end of it, and it's been a pretty good day. Good morning, troopers. It is the last day of the trip. We have a short paddle just across the lake and loaded out, and I'm loaded heavy with my telescope, all the group tents, my own stuff, group box, more of my own stuff, and more of my own stuff. All right, here we are, almost to the access point. It's been a great trip, and I think I'll sign off now. Thanks for watching.